Hi, my name is Julie McConnell. I'm the horticulture agent in Bay County.
And I'm Scott Jackson. I'm a Florida Sea Grant agent and county extension director in Bay County also.
Welcome to week 6. You're over halfway through this Let's Walk Florida challenge. And today we're going to talk to you mostly about some of the roadblocks that we all encounter when we're trying to take on a new habit or a new activity in our lives.
Yeah, it can be kind of challenging. There's a lot of, I guess, mind games that you have to overcome sometimes. And it is that attitude that we want to kind of talk about today and kind of maybe go over some of the roadblocks that typically show up. And we'll talk a little bit about the roadblocks related to both trying to eat right and then trying to maintain our exercise habits that we're trying to do too, our other fitness goals. So what are some of the ones, Julie, that you kind of find a challenge as you go through your day and your routine?
Well, one of the things is that it can be really challenging to cook healthy meals. And so you really have to decide that you're going to do it and plan for your shopping, plan for when you're going to make meals. I know for my family, what I do is on Sunday afternoons, I will prepare breakfast for the entire week. And what I happen to make is I make some crustless quiches, like kind of muffin sized little egg muffins, I guess is what you could say. So they have vegetables in them. They have some egg whites and eggs, and I bake them up in the oven. And then during the week, about 30 seconds in the microwave, my breakfast is ready, and I can start my day already on the track that I want to be on. So it's kind of a good way to kind of kick off the day eating healthy instead of being in a rush and grabbing something that is going to kind of set me up for, well, I already didn't do well this morning, so maybe I'm just not going to eat well all day.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's hard too at work. Every once in a while, especially, we'll have either somebody we didn't expect drop by and want to go eat lunch with us or something like that. And then what are the choices you make then in a situation where you already have brought your lunch and you've already set everything up, and you don't want to be rude, and you also enjoy time together in those situations. Sometimes a lot of work gets done, a lot of good ideas come out of those conversations, those meetings, so you certainly don't want to miss out on that. I know, I just have my go-to restaurants that I can always suggest, and which ones would have food that I would feel comfortable with, and also maybe even share what I've learned about good, healthy eating habits with the people that I'm with. You can look at it as an opportunity too. And you had mentioned to me some other tips when you were, at the table ordering. What are some of your strategies in that situation, Julie?
Well, what I usually try to do is if I know where I'm going, I will see if they have an online menu and kind of look over the options and try to have a decision made before I get there. That kind of helps with impulse ordering, especially if I've gotten too hungry. And one thing that I've noticed, and I've seen this in magazines before, but I really do see it occurring when I've been with friends, is whoever orders first kind of sets the tone. You might be thinking, I'm going to get the salad with some grilled chicken on top, and then your friend orders a big juicy bacon burger, and all of a sudden that sounds really, really good, and it can be very challenging to stick to your the decision you made before you walked in the door. So if you have the option of ordering first, then that might be a good way to make sure that you order what you intended to order and don't change it after you hear what everyone else is having.
And I'm sure there's some other really good tips out there. And like you said, there's a lot of magazine articles and popularized articles that are good. And of course, we like to go with science-based information here at UF. And so we have some of those types of strategies also with research. But I think planning is key, whether you're going to plan your week or whether you're going to plan your day as far as your meals go. When you have a plan, you're more apt to kind of stick with that. We've got some other challenges too. it, you know, seems like, you know, when you go to the grocery store, it just costs more money every time. You know, every time you go, it's always something that seems to have driven the cost of food up, especially healthy food. You know, fruit, fresh fruit, fresh vegetables even sometimes can be a challenge. Do you have any tips there that maybe you use in your family?
So one of the things I try to do to keep my grocery costs a little bit lower, and admittedly, it is more expensive to buy fresh produce than it is to buy some packaged items. But to me, it's worth it. I would rather eat that way. And so what I try to do is pay attention to what's in season. And usually if you go to the grocery store or you look at the flyer ahead of time, you'll see some really good deals on produce. And that's usually because at that point in time, it's an abundant supply. And maybe there's lower shipping costs associated with it. And so that can help you save money. And it also helps you vary your diet.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's almost a shame to think about sometimes candy costing less money than something that's really good for you, you know, like a orange, apple, or grapes or something like that. You know, there is a cost though if you continue to eat things that aren't good for you, even though they're cheap, and you know, you may end up paying a price with your health later on. And so what seems to be cheap initially may become very expensive. And what's your health worth? I mean, it's really hard to put a dollar figure on that once you've gone so far as to damage some of those things, especially as we get older. It can cause problems, and the habits that we set, even for young people, we certainly would love to model those and teach our kids what's proper and what the priorities are, so that when they're away from us later on and they're grown, that they continue to share those as they grow up with their families. And so what a great legacy to leave your family is to teach them healthy eating habits now so that they continue to share those into the future. So let's switch to exercise a little bit. It's something that we're doing this program, you know, Let's Walk Florida, but we know it's more than that. And so, you know, it can be really a hard challenge as to figure out when to work out and find time to do that, especially with the busyness of our lives. You would think we'd have more time right now, and some of us do, but many of us are finding ourselves more, I guess, taxed for time and trying to figure some things out. What are some of your strategies there? And then I can help you a little bit with some of the things I do.
Right. So for me, sometimes I can look at the whole week and try to make some plans about when I'm going to exercise, but sometimes that changes on a daily basis. For me, I tend to like to exercise at the end of the day after work. I like to be outside, and usually it's kind of starting to cool down. And right now I'm kind of struggling with that because the week that we're recording this, we have had afternoon rain showers every single day. And that really kind of impedes what I want to do. But because I've blocked out that time, even if my first choice of what I want to do isn't going to happen because of something beyond my control, I have a backup plan. There are other things that I decide to do. It's really, you just have to make the decision that you're going to block out 30 minutes or an hour or 15 minutes or whatever your time block is to do something active. Another thing is you really need to communicate that with your family. If your family is not joining you in exercise and your schedule is going to impact maybe their meal times or some other time that you would have normally spent with them, have a conversation and try to get them on board. If they don't want to join you, that's okay, but just talk to them ahead of time about, you know, is it okay if we eat dinner at 6 instead of 5 because I'd really like to exercise this evening? And that family support can really help you meet your goals. I know for me with my husband, if I tell him in the morning that I plan to run after work and I'm on my way home saying, what's for dinner? He'll say, I thought you were going to run this afternoon. So that kind of also can help with accountability if you're sharing your plans and expectations with people who will kind of hold you to it or be your cheerleader.
Yeah, I think that communication is key, and working together and helping each other, whether you have other responsibilities at home, such as kids or chores or something like that, kind of rotating that schedule if you're not going to exercise together, to figure out how each of you can get your health goals managed and how to manage those schedules are really, really good. And if you're alone in this endeavor and you're single, you can certainly work your schedule a little bit easier in that regard. But it's also nice to find other people to work out with and do things with, whether you're single or you're have a partner. You need to try to see if you can find some like-minded people. I find that really nice, especially being on the road sometimes. Finding people that will go work out with me first and then go eat with me later on is really something that helps you be accountable and enjoyable, provides a relief usually from stress of traveling and that kind of stuff, and really is a comfort and a way to get your manage your goals and kind of have your I would say cake and eat it too, but cake on occasion, right? So you know, I guess one pitfall of that would be like, what happens when you are ready to go, your friend has already said yes, and then all of a sudden they have something at the house that they just can't go with you. What do you do then? Julie, you got any answers?
You keep that date with yourself. When you have accountability partners or you have a group of people that you exercise with or do healthy meal planning with, you need to be ready to be the cheerleader sometimes. When you're first starting out, especially, a lot of times we're looking to someone else to kind of prop us up and push us along, and that's great, but you sometimes are going to have to be the one taking the lead. And again, it just kind of falls back to that, how bad do you want this? Do you, either you can make it happen or you can make an excuse. And it's very easy to use somebody else not being able to participate as a reason not to do it yourself. And, that kind of ties into find something that you enjoy, notice the benefits that you get besides, weight loss and increased health. For a lot of people, they find that exercise helps kind of calm them down. And there's some mental health benefits to it too. And so, don't let somebody else's schedule changes or emergencies that come up influence the commitment that you made to yourself.
And you do need to have that commitment to yourself first. And sometimes things are going to get in your way. Earlier I talked about the day my air conditioner broke and I had to spend time doing that. And everybody in my family is really happy that I did that, but I did miss one of my scheduled workout times, and I didn't make it back up, but I didn't let that one day become 2 or 3. And that's what you have to kind of do is maintain that commitment. Things are going to happen in busy lives that we can't help, and you just have to go through it. I was running the other day and I hurt my ankle. And so now what? I really can't do high impact stuff. So now I've got to find something else that I like to do. And, fortunately I've got some things that I can do that are low impact. And there's just going to be situations, whether it's the air conditioner or whether it's something that you did as an injury, that you're going to have to try to find other things and keep those commitments over time. So what's the last one that we have here?
So the last one is that exercise feels like a chore. And that's really common. And sometimes it's just a matter of finding an activity that you really, really enjoy. And that can take some trial and error. There may be some things that it sounds like it's a good idea and you do it once or twice and you realize this is not a good fit for me. And that's okay. Try something else. We have so many options available to us. There are lots of free apps that we can find, and there's always YouTube. YouTube has some amazing free resources of videos of all different types of exercises. whether you're looking for some type of walking intervals or yoga, stretching, cardio, dance, whatever it is that you're interested in, you can probably find some free resources online that will give you a chance to try it out before you make any kind of commitment.
And we don't want to come like where we're focused on one certain type of activity all the time. Even if you like it, you know, there's some other things and some other health benefits. For example, I know I tend to forget about stretching, but then once I get into it, oh man, I'm so glad I did, and it improves my performance and you know, it does keep you from injury and most of the time. And so something that I would encourage people to do, even just a little bit of time set aside for that would be really good to do. Is there anything else that you would recommend right now? I know you've got some other things that you bring every day to work.
Yeah, I meant to bring it. Well, I'll take a picture and we can incorporate it later. But in my office, which I do have some space in my office, you know, some open floor area, which I know not everybody has, but I keep here a change of clothes for workout clothes. I have a pair of tennis shoes. I have a yoga mat, and I have some resistance bands. And the yoga mat that I have actually folds up into a flat square. And so when I travel, I can toss that in my suitcase and take it with me. So that if I'm, you know, at a hotel, I don't have to use a mat at a gym, or I can even just stay in my hotel room and put it out on the floor. So I just kind of keep those things on hand. If I am having a day where I know I'm not going to be able to exercise later, then I'll make a point of, that's my lunch break, is I will shut the door and just do whatever it is that I feel like I need to do. And it's usually not anything too intensive because I'm at work all day and I don't have the opportunity to take a shower. So, but just that little bit of movement and activity, breaking up the workday can really help me de-stress and also get the kinks out from being crouched in front of a computer all day, which can be, you know, really lead to some aches and pains.
So in that regard, you know, my go-to is probably more mindfulness and meditation. And I think that's what they're going to talk about in week 7. So we'll leave that as a teaser and hope you'll join us for that. But I can find really a lot of relief in those types of things. And it really doesn't take too long. You can do stuff in less than 10 minutes. So we could go on about that. We'd love to talk to you on Facebook in the group. And if you have any questions, you can email us here, and we'll put those emails in our messages, and we'll look forward to hearing from you. And if you have any questions, again, please let us know. Take care.